I've really been procrastinating on making this video. We've all been hearing a lot of news coming out in the MMORPG world. As soon as next month, Ashes of Creation will release on Steam. New World, the Amazon Games MMORPG, is being sunsetted, and many reviewers are confused and angry at Intrepid. What is Intrepid thinking? The link between these topics might surprise you. But if you enjoy the video, be sure to like, and if you're feeling super charitable, you can leave a sub too. Let's get into it. So I was actually planning on playing this month with the release of the Harbingers update. That, however, changed when Intrepid announced their decision to make Ashes of Creation early access available on Steam coming December 11th, 2025 at half price. There's also a sale bringing it down to $42 on release. And looking at the coverage of this, everyone is upset. I don't really think I've seen a positive take on this situation yet, and I'm not going to write off those other opinions. I think some of them are really valid, and I'll get a little more into the ones that I agree with a little later in the video. But before I get to the core of what I think is actually happening here, I'm going to cover some pretty important things, starting with Steam itself. As others have mentioned, Steam has a somewhat soft monopoly on the gaming sphere. Game studios, especially small ones, give up more than half of their player base if they choose not to release on Steam. For this reason, a release on Steam is predicted for almost every modern game launch, and even early access. Coming with Steam, there's a whole lot of different rules and regulations that Ashes is going to have to follow. Things like their refund policy is going to change. Under normal conditions, a game's testers would be excited to hear about a new influx of players, but when witnessing the gut reaction of the community, there's a lot of negative feedback. Steven himself knows that loud voices in the Ashes community complain about every aspect of Ashes, from 10 years ago to now. But what I want to understand is where they're coming from. So I took the extra time to read in between the lines. The central point of these critics have been the bad communication coming from Intrepid themselves. Intrepid has said things like they have enough testers, they have enough money, and they're preparing for launch. If that was the case, why are they so quick to release the game on Steam? To many, it feels like a cash grab. Just weeks to reveal that they're going to wipe in 1 month. Players have experienced very quick turnarounds in these game decisions that affect not only the game's overall health, but also just the player's willingness to play. But I have an extra point here. Community feedback on Ashes is not cohesive. You can find every opinion under the sun for this game. But just last month, most people were decided on one thing. They wanted a full wipe for Ashes of Creation, and Steven was resistant to this idea. But this idea came for two main reasons. The underdevelopment of one of the zones called the Anvils, and the failure of the economy right off the start of the new launch. And for around 30,000 active testers in Alpha 2, this faced incredible backlash. So then Steven comes out and says he's willing to wipe the servers. And now looking, all of those voices saying they wanted a wipe, I can't really find them. And Steven might not make all of the best decisions, but I think this situation is evidence that you can't make everyone happy. And at the very same time, there's so much invested interest in this game. A lot of these players that are worried are playing the game. So they might seem negative, but they do really care about the success of this game. The biggest reason these players don't want it on Steam is because they're worried about Steam reviews, and I think that's incredibly valid. Steam reviews alone are enough to tarnish their reputation forever. So what is Steven thinking? Is it a cash grab? Why does Steven believe now is the best time to open up the game for more players? For most of the rest of this video, I'm going to cover exactly what I believe Steven is thinking when he's making this decision. It's not something a lot of other people have talked about. And no, it's not that he's money hungry or trying to scam people. And it's not the idea that Steven's trying to sell a full product. Steven has made it abundantly clear that he doesn't believe his game is ready for a full launch, but he's still making the decision to release it on Steam. And I think to fully understand why he's doing this, we have to look at something else. The MMORPG genre has been in shambles for a long time. Even now, there are many prospective players looking for a home within any community. Recently, the Lazy Peon made a new video about New World. He identified that the game with its new update was incredible, in good shape, and had totally redeemed itself. And for 2 weeks, the population surged. And this was immediately followed by some of the most upsetting news the MMO community could hear. And I'm not saying the Lazy Peon's video made New World popular, but he did properly identify that it was doing well. He even convinced me to re-download the game. As you may know, Amazon Studios has chosen to permanently discontinue New World, and the game is now going to be sunsetted throughout the next 6 months, right after their newest update. But we need to remember, a company like Amazon makes their decisions around stakeholders. The decision to take New World off the market was likely made long ago, and this is why, despite the surge in activity, they likely can't revert their decision to take the game off the market. And now, the population is dropping to record lows again, the true end of New World. But what does this mean for Ashes? In its recent popularity spike, New World went from 10k players to 50k, and it has since fallen back to 5,000 players. But who are these players? Well, these players are playing New World. New World is an MMORPG that is focused on PvP, for more or less, which is the exact same MMO philosophy that Ashes of Creation with their PvX system is trying to go for. This is not the same as a Guild Wars 2 player. Lots of you may not like Steven, but I want you to listen to this.
Steven, you want to talk a little bit more about why we're going into early access and kind of give people like the why aspect of this?
Expanding that audience to incorporate voices who perhaps not have been so involved with the development of the game, that is something that's very important to expand potential development opportunities with outsourcing. Steam is a great way to do that. Genre-specific interest and demographics of people who are interested in the MMORPG space. Look, at the end of the day, population is a key component of what makes MMORPGs fun. Your game being good is the primary attractor to population. But in addition to that, in concert to that, a welcoming community and a good community and a helpful community is that much better.
So that's what he's saying. What do you guys think about that? And it's okay if you don't believe him. Virtually every update has been delayed for a very long time, so I understand the mistrust. But that leads me to the main point that I want to get across for this whole video. And I may be wrong, but I think Steven is thinking about this too. And it's this. I could be wrong, but there is currently a minimum of 45,000 MMORPG players actively searching for a game just like Ashes of Creation. And this estimation does not include the people that have already been waiting on the sidelines. People like me, who were waiting to play. Currently there are around 30,000 players playing the alpha. If we expect that even half of these players play the Ashes of Creation alpha in the future when it's on Steam, then that's going to double the population of new, fresh voices within the Ashes of Creation community. It'll create a long-term home for these players before some other game comes out and takes this population away. This is not an opportunity that I think Ashes of Creation should pass up. And so I'll say it, I actually believe this is a great idea to put it on Steam. Steven knows about the possibility of negative feedback, but there may be too much to gain here to let go. And I don't believe all 50,000 New World players are going to find refuge in Ashes of Creation, but there will definitely be many. And there's another factor here. As covered in previous videos, there's a lot of burnout in Ashes of Creation. Some players already have thousands of hours, and if Steven wants to properly test the new player environment, he needs new testers. So I'm sorry. I've decided to go for a little bit of devil's advocate, and there's definitely a lot of worries that I didn't cover in this video. But I made this video to cover possibly the first positive take on the Steam launch, because I really want to see this game succeed. To try not to make this video too long, I'm gonna stop it here. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna leave you with another clip from the livestream. I want to see if I can spread just a tiny bit of positivity about Ashes of Creation. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video.
But the expectation was that when phase 3 came, that would be a setting where we would be more capable of expanding that testing audience, that player audience, to really validate what it is that we are trying to do with Ashes of Creation. You know, obviously, as you guys are aware, there is a divide in our development team between those who focus on future content and future features and those who are focused on servicing the live testing environment, on the production environment, or on the PTR. When we are able to direct and focus the entirety of our development group to current live environment and focus on buying down bugs and focus on stability and optimization, and we put on pause new content and new feature development, we're able to make a lot of changes within a very short period of time. And over the course of the next 4 weeks, we will be entirely dedicated as a team, 100% of the team focused on polishing, stabilizing, optimizing, and getting ready the current environment of the Harbinger update that we have for that December 11th launch.